There's been a lot of discussion in the community in regards to how Wano is ending, especially in chapters 149 and 150, and I may do a in-depth video about it, but basically there's been, I don't want to say disappointment, but I guess people's expectations were higher than what we've got. And don't get me wrong, I think the arc is wrapping up like it's supposed to, but like the way that Kaido was defeated, the lack of emotion, there's just been a lot of discussion recently, and I think that chapter 1051 was a different approach that Oda is used to doing. And what I mean by that is, if you this arc is concluding kind of like Dressrosa in my opinion, when Luffy defeated Doflamingo with a big punch, and everybody is happy and that Doflamingo is defeated, and in this Kaido is defeated by a big punch. However, the way that it's going about is Momo is the one reassuring the citizens that everything's going to be all right, and I think this is a better moment. I do think that in this chapter, because typically there's like whenever the main character is defeated, people see it happen. It happened with Crocodile, it happened with Doflamingo, and people like shredded into tears, and they shedded tears. They were so upset and just so happy at the same time, just a lot of emotions going on. And I feel like in this one, it's the emotions after the speech, I guess, when Momo, he's reassuring that everybody's okay. So let's talk about the chapter. One Piece chapter 1051, Kazuki Momonosuke, the Shogun of Wano. The cover story real quick, we have Germa escaping, everybody's back together, Reiju, Ichiji, Niji, and Yonji. The cover page, it looks good, especially in the coloring, but we don't care about that. We're going to continue on with the chapter. So the chapter starts off with the people, they stop running, they're like, hey, right, it's not Kaido, it's Momonosuke, there really are two dragons, let's go and see what's going on. And in the previous chapter, we saw Dendro and we saw Hiyori, they came out in the smoke, and the rest of the scabbards are still in the smoke, followed by Momonosuke. And in this chapter, we got the reveal of what he looks like. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but basically Momonosuke is explaining to everybody what happened throughout the battle. And this is being broadcasted throughout Curie, throughout Ringo, throughout Udon, and everywhere in Wano, right? And all the scabbards are coming out the smoke. We have Kiyomon, we have Kawamatsu, we have, who else? Inuyasha, Nekomamushi, we have Kiku. The only people we don't have is Izo and Dendro. I mean, not Dendro. We don't have Izo and I forget what his name. I think it's Ashura Doji, and I don't think Izo's dead, but Ashura Doji might be dead. But hey, it's Oda, he might come back to life as well. And so what we have to realize is, for the people of Wano and a few of the scabbards like Dendro, basically the people who didn't travel into the future, that they've been waiting for 20 years, and on the contrary, those that travel into the future, it's only been a couple months, a couple weeks since this happened, so it's still fresh on their minds. While the others, I'm not gonna say, like, it's kind of like if a relative or somebody you cared about died within like the first couple weeks, broaching the subject and talking about it's going to be tough and rough. And like, compared to like 20 years down the line, sure, it's gonna suck when you talk about it, but at the same time, you've gotten over it and you moved on, because you can't, like, the time for mourning is over. So that's kind of what it reminded me of. But the people of Wano, they're finally liberated. And then we cut to Yamato, in her introductions to the Straw Hats. We see her, she's like, yo, I'm the son of Kaido. And so everybody's like, oh, so this war is not over. Brooke's ready to go. Frankie's ready to go. Usopp and Nami are ready to dip. And so she's like, hey, right? Even though I'm the son of Kaido, right? So I've been following you guys in your journeys. Y'all are weirdos, but I'm a weirdo too, right? So let me join your crew. I'll be sailing with you. And everybody's happy, ecstatic. Where Jinbei's like, hold up. Let's confirm it with Luffy first, because I don't know if I can trust yet, right? We gotta confirm it first. And this reminds me of how Nico Robin declared that she's gonna join the crew, right? In the same way, I don't think Luffy's gonna deny Yamato, especially at seeing like how she defended everybody while Luffy was out, and she was the only one who was going against Kaido. I know that a lot of Sanji fans, a lot of Zoro, Sanji, and Yamato fans, it's gonna be a lot of discussion on who's the second strongest of the crew. We all know it's Luffy, Zoro, probably right now is Yamato, then Sanji, but Sanji's going to surpass her in terms of strength. But I will say one thing that I don't want to say irritated me, but it's still sitting in the back of my mind, the fact that, well, we see Luffy getting treated. He's been through a lot, especially after Gear 5th. But one thing, the way that they hyped up Zoro meeting the Grim Reaper, and that Frankie caught him and was running him back to Chopper saying Zoro could die, we haven't seen Zoro in this chapter, him being treated, or like the sense of urgency behind it. So is he dead? Like, I need to see the other crew members' reactions, right? And I don't know, like, when we had nothing happen, Sanji was like, yo, what the fluff happened? Where all this blood come from? And for Zoro to have broken all those bones and his battle with King, and then the damage is going to be twice as bad, I feel like, especially Chopper being the doctor or something, that there needs to be some sense of urgency. Maybe the next chapter is going to highlight it, or maybe an entire chapter is going to highlight that. But I just feel like Zoro is not getting... maybe we'll get a flashback, I don't know, but I think that we need to highlight that a little bit more. Tama had some emotions in this chapter as well. The way her devil fruit works is only works for 30 days, about a month, and then I believe it says when the full moon comes out, the animals go back to normal. Some of them are like beast again, and some of them are still like follow her and kinder and all of that. And we had Speed, you know, she was like, hey, I want to be your servant forever. And so Tom was like, I don't, it's cool if you're around me, but how about you be my mother instead? Where Speed to me doesn't really seem like a mother, maybe like a big sister, but it is what it is. Momo, he's giving his speech. I think this is probably a top 5 speech of One Piece. Doflamingo's speech is probably the best. Luffy's speech in Udon was pretty good. Momonosuke, his speech it sat well, especially with like the fact, we got a flashback about this when Luffy was like, yo, are you just a figurehead? And Momo, he didn't shed tears. He did what he had to do, being the Shogun of Wano. But going back to Tama, she didn't cry or anything, but she's 8 years old, and then we see like she's starting to break down a little bit because of all she's been through. Apparently her parents were working in the factory, but because like the harsh conditions, and you know, they ended up perishing. So she's, and Komochio, at a young age, were weaving baskets trying to make money. Nobody was buying them, and then Hitetsu came and bought one and was like, yo, don't worry, little one, the scabbards will return and we will take down Orochi and Kaido, which it ended up happening. And so Tama, going all through this, hearing Luffy say, yo, because remember when Tama, she ate that red bean soup and she was like, this is the best day of her life, just eating some soup. And Luffy's like, before we leave the country, you know, I'm gonna make this a place where you can eat as much as you want. So that was fulfilled. And so Tama, experiencing all the hardship that she's been through, finally broke down into Nami's arms. This reminds me of Nami, like how she was liberated from Arlong after taking over the country, and saved by Luffy in the same way. So she knows how this feels. And you know, this is the emotion that people were saying were lacking, like the fact that like nobody was shedding tears or anything, and that all came in this chapter. And also I do like the fact Momo, he said the Mink Samurai Pirate Alliance, and everybody knew about that alliance but kids. So kids like, our alliance, like what the fluff? And so during his speech, Momo, he talks about how they defeated everybody, and Momo, he's like, yo, I'm gonna get this country back on track. However, I'm gonna need your guys' help. I'm gonna need the people of Wano to rise up and assist me with this, because I can't do it all alone. And I love that, man. You know, you can't ever do anything alone, no matter what. Luffy talks about, you know, you can't be on the sea alone. So the fact that Momo is willing to ask for help, I think that's an important role as a leader. And then we get Momo, his reveal. I will say, when I saw it in the black and white version, I was like, it's kind of, it's alright, it's nothing special. But then I saw like a little bit after the color version that came out, and Momo, he looked good. I was expecting him to look a lot more like Odin, the way that what's her name, Shinobu, I think that's her name, or the ninja, whatever. The way that she was hyping it up, I was like, okay, he's gonna look more like Odin, and I feel like he doesn't. Maybe it's because of long hair, I don't know, but I think he looks better. He is Kazuka Momonosuke. He is his name means second to none. So, you know, him being his own, I'm pretty happy about that. And then as he's walking, you know, I like something. He's like, well, Kimo, what am I supposed to say? Kimo's like, hey, fake it till you make it. And so everybody's bowing, everybody respects him as the leader, and then he walks. And then we get the interaction that I'm happy for. Hiyori was, she's been through a lot too. She has seen her brother, and she finally goes, starts crying, and hugs her brother. And then we get like the narrator. He says Momonosuke will be one of the greatest leaders that Wano ever had, and that he will be important in the future. So after this arc, we probably won't see him for a while, but Momo will have some importance probably for the final war of One Piece and the final arc of One Piece. But overall, this was a great chapter. The emotions that I feel like we're missing came in this chapter. Like I said, I still wish in the previous chapters that there was more emotion and like people, crying and all of that. But it is what it is. Maybe he was saving it for this one. But there's a lot of mystery still left about Zoro, his lineage, Yamato's interaction with Zoro, my favorite parts are stuff that happens after arcs. So like the different bounties going in, what happened, like is Zoro alive? Then there's also the poneglyphs, that's important as well. So different things that are yet to be unresolved, that still has to happen. So there's not a break next week, and I truly wonder how many more chapters of Wano there's going to be. Wano's probably ending after this year, so, and it's my favorite arc, so it's going to be sad, but all good things come to an end. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Give me your guys' thoughts about 1051. Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.